Hey, good morning, everybody. You know, usually at this time I'm in church, but unfortunately I got up, but then my body just went back to sleep. So that's why I'm here. But, you know, I'm here to talk about one thing. And, you know, I did my review on TNA Impact this past Thursday, and I thought, well, since I did my short review on it, I thought I'd also talk about something that apparently some people have talked about and hoping is going to stick around and really make a certain championship in TNA finally mean something. But then again, others are looking at it as if it's another waste of time, and with this whole inevitable Sting Hogan deal, it's going to become completely worthless. And that is known as the BFG series, short for Bound for Glory series. Now, the Bound for Glory series, as you probably all know, involves, I think, if I can look here, grab my cup of coffee as well, 12 TNA wrestlers. Now, the 12 TNA wrestlers are Crimson, Gunner, Devon, Matt Morgan, James Storm, RVD, Bully Ray, AJ Styles, Scott Steiner, Robert Roode, Samoa Joe, the Pope, those 12. And the three that are in the lead right now, in the top 5 right now in this category, the top 5 out of the 12, or if you want to go by 12 superstars, the top 6, I should say. The top 6 are Crimson, number 1, Gunner, number 2, Devon, number 3, Morgan, number 4, James, number 5, and RVD, number 6. Now, according to some spoilers, 2 individuals are going to get 7 points this upcoming week. This upcoming Thursday on Impact. Those are Matt Morgan and RVD. Now, we don't know about house shows right now. We don't know about tonight. We don't know about last night. We don't know about last Friday. We don't know who scored any points yet and who's really getting back in the lead. But you see, here's the thing. It seems to me that they are truly, right now, according to these standings, are truly trying to push the likes of Crimson and Gunner in to that main event slot. Now, a lot of you would probably say that Gunner does not fit the BFG Bound for Glory main event mold. I agree on that. He doesn't. But when you take a look at the fact that they let him go over Anderson days after Anderson became a 2-time world champion, that's saying something. But then when you take a look at Crimson, who they got being undefeated, yet to lose a match, building him up as the next big thing in professional wrestling, obviously, and then you take a look at the fact that he's in the lead, what else is that going to tell you? I mean, this past Thursday on Impact, they had I think one BFG series, and there was a triple threat match between Roode, Joe, and the Pope. And what happens? Roode wins, gets 10 points. Now, some people have mentioned that if, you know, that if TNA does that on occasions to where they end up doing more, doing the 10-point scale deal, that, well, TNA is basically, if they go with 10 points instead of 7, would basically be pushing Crimson right to the moon. I mean, Schleg Daddy, or Jeff, if you will, over at the Off the Rope show, said that you could do 10 points from now on and everything, or something like, he said something like on the lines of, you could do 10 points now, and still Crimson would be in the lead. You see, to me, this whole BFG series and the way things are going, no matter what the superstars say, wins and losses, yes, they do matter. It looks like right now that Crimson is getting that opportunity at Bound for Glory. But then again, things can change. But the guy's undefeated. The guy's undefeated. Now, the only person I think TNA, Impact Wrestling, could put him up against in this BFG series that could possibly knock him down, give him his first loss in the company, well, actually there's two. There's two people. There's two people. And as much as I'd like to say AJ Styles could be one of them, and he could be, the two legit people, in my opinion, and I believe probably in the opinion of TNA, are Matt Morgan and RVD. That's right. Because think about it. RVD is sort of been pushed, sort of still valued by the company as being a main event guy. Matt Morgan is being pushed possibly straight to the world title and to an inevitable world title reign. But we just don't know when and we just don't know where. So what better way for Matt Morgan to garner some points? I mean, let's say Matt Morgan wrestles a BFG series match tonight. Let's see he wrestles one tonight at a house show, if there is a house show. Matt Morgan gets 7 points, right? Okay, 21. Well, let's say Crimson doesn't wrestle one. Let's say Crimson doesn't wrestle one on Impact, which obviously he doesn't. But let's say he doesn't wrestle one the rest of this week, and Matt Morgan does. You see, if Matt Morgan was to wrestle 2 BFG series matches, Matt Morgan would still be in second, would end up in second place. Now I'm not saying that Gunner wouldn't win a match and stay in second place, and I'm not saying Devon wouldn't do the same thing. All I'm saying is this: the way things are going right now, the only 2 legitimate people that could possibly put a dent in Crimson, bring him down a peg, cause him to lose, and put his shot at the BFG series, at the BFG main event in jeopardy, is Morgan and RVD. Yeah, you can probably throw AJ Styles in there if you want to. But to me, as much as I am a fan of the Phenomenal One, RVD and Matt Morgan are more legitimate choices. Now I know you're thinking, yeah, that's true, but this BFG series really doesn't make any sense. Many of you might think that. Because many of you might think, well, what you just said, Brian, kind of doesn't make any sense. I mean, if Crimson's all the way in the lead, is leading the 3 people tied for second place, if you will, by 10 points, it really doesn't make sense. A lot of you might say, well, this BFG series was only made for Crimson to push him. And a lot of you have probably looked at it like that. A lot of you have probably said, you know what, the BFG series is just made for Crimson to push him to the moon. You might be right. Some of you might just say, we just as well call it the Crimson series, or Crimson series. A lot of you may be right. But you know what? Maybe you're wrong. You see, TNA, as much as we hate what they do sometimes, as much as we dislike the fact that they're leading to something we don't probably want, some people want to see and some people don't want to see at Bound for Glory, the one thing I will say is they always have the ability to pull rabbits out of the hats, give us some twisters, if you will. So my thought process in this is the fact that I believe they're going to give us a twister. They're going to give us something that's going to throw us off. Possibly. I mean, just when you think this whole Bound for Glory BFG series is going to be about Crimson, if you will, I think it's going to be about something else. I believe it. Now, if it is Crimson that they push to the main event, and let's say Kurt Angle's the world champion, what better way for the main event to come? Because who did Crimson associate himself with besides Amazing Red? He was associating himself with Kurt Angle. So think about it. What better way for Kurt Angle, as some people would say, possibly to finally go into semi-retirement, go into possibly spending more time with his kids and everything, training for the Olympics, getting ready for that, than to pass the torch to Crimson at Bound for Glory? What better way? But then again, they could throw you that curveball. They could throw you something else. But in my honest opinion, with this whole BFG series, I'm just sitting back and waiting and see what happens. Because if they continue on with it, all the way up to Bound for Glory, I mean, they got about 3 more months, guys, so let's see if they can do it. Then I'll be satisfied. I mean, according to reports, the BFG series does end in September, but I'll be satisfied with if they can keep it up till then. If not, and they drop the ball just like they did with the ranking system, then they drop the ball and it becomes meaningless. And it shows that TNA can't do rankings in this sport like anybody else can. So we'll just have to wait and see. If it pays off, pays off. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Again, I know some people like the idea, hoping it's going to work. Some people don't. Some people feel it's more like the Crimson show, where it's Crimson's gauntlet, where he's just taking out opponents left and right. So let's just see what happens. I'm just going to wait, sit back, and watch what happens. And that's all I'm going to say on it. And I'll talk to y'all later.